details.
Welcome to the Brooks and
I
Zach.
can't even see you starting the show, and you just start it without me. Thanks, Brooks.
Welcome to the Brooks and
did you
Zach
acknowledge
100
you
Years
just ignored me
podcast.
now?
I'm Brooks.
And I'm ignored, apparently.
I was leaving. I was opening it up, man. I was leaving you open.
You're leaving me open for a bunch of bullets to come in through the window because we live in that part of the neighborhood. It's not a good neighborhood.
Yeah. Our building is very unfortunately located
In the center of Crimeopolis.
Crimeopolis.
And the only building that's taller than 3 stories is the Brooks and Zach 100 Years building, which is 100 stories tall.
And if you think that paints a target on our company, boy, you would be more right than you know.
That fire brought in a lot of homeless people, too.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Good thing we rebuilt it in a day.
Yeah.
You know how they say Rome was built in a day?
Yeah.
So was Brooks and Zach 100 Years.
Yeah. Wait a minute. The
Yeah.
phrase was Rome wasn't built in a day.
Oh. Anyway.
So we're better than Rome.
Let's
Okay, so
stitch that into a...
The whole Crimeopolis thing was a result of the real estate being $5 and a stick of gum.
Well, it's not our fault we haggled that low.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted 2 sticks of gum, but
Yeah.
I managed to get it down.
You see, the key to getting a really good apartment is going to the real estate guy when he just got out of a car crash. Technically, he's still in the car crash, but I already pulled him out of the car. May have suffered several concussions, but I had a contract with me, and he had to sign it. Otherwise, I said I wasn't calling the ambulance. So that's how we got our Brooks and Zach 100 Years Tower, with insurance.
Yeah, and lots of benefits. For us, not for anyone else.
For no one else.
Yeah, clearly.
Yep, that's why we have the steel door now, so the employees don't riot against us. You might hear them sometimes, but, no.
Has anyone listening, if you've seen the movie Snowpiercer, imagine that, but the train is, like, standing up straight.
It's like the size of a Chrysler building.
It's the size of the Chrysler. Our building is the size of the Chrysler building. That's like huge.
I don't know what movie that's referencing. There's like a runaway train.
There was a train movie with Chris Pine and Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best thing to come out of the movie is the parody from Saturday Night Live.
I think that
which is weird because it's Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And but it was just the perfect where it's like, they grow a begrudging respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the guys, the Denzel Washington's just like, you sure you can handle this train? And then Chris Pine's like, you sure you can handle yourself, Grandpa? And Denzel Washington looks at him, and then he smiles. And he's like, ah! And then he's just like, we have to stop. The lady's just like, we have to stop this train. It's the size of the Chrysler building. And he's just like, we're a little busy because we have just grown a begrudging respect between each other, bringing together the old and the new.
I'm glad you understand that very vague reference I didn't even understand myself, and you decided to spend, a good minute explaining it.
That's just who I am.
This is just what we are at the Brooks and Zach 100 Years.
It's why our money is in the toilet.
Oh, God. That's also because of all those renovations.
Yeah.
Really shouldn't have spent it on all shag carpeting. On the walls, on the ceiling, on the floor. But, who can resist some really nice shag carpeting? Just feel the shag carpeting.
I am feeling it. I'm touching the wall over here.
Yeah, it feels pretty great down here.
Yeah.
Is that a penny? Nope, that's a bug. We may have bugs.
Do we have bugs?
I think we might. We'll burn it down later.
We got the shag carpeting, so it burns easier.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to go straight into the news?
Straight into the news. Might as well. The first news of the year.
Yes!
All right.
Unsettling mule robot too loud to fight alongside Marines.
What? I don't think I could have asked for
Moving on to the next one.
No, wait. What? Is that an actual news story, or did you just pull random words? That is an actual news thing. Oh my God.
Boston Dynamics robot mule is unfit for military service at this time, the Marines announced. You know that weird thing that was sort of like a dog, but like a box?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you can see a picture of it right here, but our listeners cannot.
Yeah, I know what it is. There was like that gif of it where a guy tried to kick it over, but it like stayed on balance.
Yeah. So, they tried to make that for war, and it didn't really work out because apparently it's too loud and it can't operate with the Marines. You know, on certain missions, such as stealth missions, or anything that requires a small amount of noise, and a robot not fumbling around trying to run.
Alright, it's like a miniature AT-AT.
And then you attach, like, guns to each side of it, and it's just, like, it's gold. See, that's why, like, it can still be used, just not for stealth missions, just for throwing a bunch at, like, the enemy.
Okay.
At, like, if they got
just throw the robots at the
They got a big fortress, you put the robots in a catapult.
Yeah.
You throw them, and because they're sort of like a weird dog-cat type of thing, they'll land on their feet. And then once the machine guns go off, they'll just be running around, machine gunning, whatever.
Yeah.
And the fortress is taken. Done.
Now, you can't claim it because they're still firing the machine guns in there. And you're like, well,
No, we have to wait for them to run out, but we're, like, all the way...
We really shouldn't have made them solar-powered.
We're all the way over by the catapult, so we're good.
But we really shouldn't have made them solar-powered and nuclear-powered because
we
they won't run out of power, bro.
But they'll run out of bullets, and we can just sort of kick them over.
Well, you say that, but I've already given them 30 months' worth of ammunition per robot.
Then we throw a robot into each enemy fortress,
Wait.
come back in 30 months, and then we see how they did.
But we already flooded that one fortress with how many robots? A bunch? So,
I mean,
we're fucked.
What's Boston Dynamics even doing other than making robots? What are they gonna do? Stop making robots? No, that's their thing now.
They have to make the robots. So what's the next news?
Next Game of Thrones book not completed, and it says probably won't be completed for a while.
How come?
'Cause George R. R. Martin he will not make excuses. There are no excuses, Martin said in a post on his live journal. No one else is to blame. Not my editors and publishers, not HBO, not Game of Thrones showrunners, David and Dan. It's on me. I tried, and I am still trying. So anyway, yeah, the 6th season is set to premiere in April, and some people were hoping that the 6th book was going to be published before the premiere. There was some rumors going around that was the plan.
Yeah.
But apparently not, and he says,
I fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He's old. He uses a computer that's not connected to the internet or something like that.
So that doesn't distract him.
Yeah, I know, but, when I try writing, I pull up a tab and I'm like, oh, yeah, and then 30 seconds later, I've climaxed and I'm ready to write again. Look at me in the eyes when I say I climaxed, Brooks. I climaxed. You gotta maintain the eye contact.
So you wrote the climax of the book?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
My one eye feels bloodshot. Is it bloodshot? Climax.
Yes! Define bloodshot.
Shot with blood. And you're to blame. You give love a bad name.
No, it's not. It's not like. Doesn't look like it's shot with blood. It looks like blood is like seeping out from the inside.
Oh, okay.
It's not like someone like outside like threw a bunch of blood on you. It's like the opposite, where it's like coming out of the eye.
Weird. Huh. Oh well, I'll just cut it open later to bleed it out. That's what they did in Rocky, right? They gotta cut the eye and then make sure you can see. I'm a sad man.
Major League Gaming reportedly bought by Activision Blizzard.
What? Blizzard bought the... Wait... MLB?
According to MLG's Adam Abicella, the acquisition won't have any effect on the upcoming CSGO Championship in March. Alright. Okay. Major League Gaming, as we once knew it, is through. Esports Observer reports that MLG's board of directors have approved an asset purchase agreement that gives Activision Blizzard substantially all of the company's assets.
That's bad.
The sale was approved as a corporate action taken without a stockholders meeting by less than unanimous written consent of stockholders. That does not sound fishy at all.
It sounds extremely sketchy and shady.
Yeah. It's a good thing we don't operate like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the MLG Gaming?
MLG Gaming? Is the Smite Championships MLG Gaming?
I don't know. Because that's the only one we care about. We'll talk about that later towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited for that, but I don't know. We'll go into it. We'll go into it later. Yeah.
So, next bit of news: George Lucas apologizes for white slavers remark.
What?
Okay, so in a recent interview that George Lucas did, George Lucas, creator of Star Wars, sold it to Disney.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Yeah. He made an unfortunate comment. In an interview on the Charlie Rose Show, Star Wars creator George Lucas referred to the franchise's new owners at Disney as quote-unquote white slavers.
What? I think
when discussing the difficulty of breaking apart from his career-defining series, Lucas said, "These are my kids. I love them. I created them. I'm very intimately involved with them, and I sold them to the white slavers that take these things," before realizing he'd made a poor analogy and laughing it off. And he has admitted it is a very poor analogy, which, upon reflection, it is an awful, terrible analogy. Why would you make that analogy, like, ever?
I think he just, he's crazy nowadays.
That's a bit of a debate. Is George Lucas a crazy person?
Yes.
I have a video to show you that Josh showed me, and it took me forever to find it. I had to call him at 4 a.m. last night.
Why?
Because I wanted to watch it.
Okay.
Which is a reason why I'm so tired today.
Okay.
So, and now I'll have to show you it. And it's beautiful. You'll never look at zebras the same way again.
I don't look at zebras the same way anytime. I'm like, black or white stripes?
Oh, so you change, it's a different way each time?
Every time. Every time it's like a thumbprint. You look at it, you grab a person by their hand, you knock them out, and then so you can look at their hands very closely. They can't do anything about it. They're out cold. And you go, yeah, another one for the scrapbook. And then you walk away, and you watch them as they get up like, what happened? Am I okay? Why is there black ink on my thumb, and only my thumb? All right, I guess everything's okay. And then I put it in my scrapbook. I have it right here. Let me just get my scrapbook out. This one's my favorite.
That one?
Yeah.
That is a blank page.
Well, it's saved for Ronald Reagan. And I will get his thumbprint before he dies.
I don't mean to break the fourth wall a bit, but I'm glad you found a way to use your paper bit for the episode.
So am I. I'm really happy.
Yeah. I feel like we're going further and further deep into the Brooks and Zach company hole.
Yeah.
This fantasy we've created for ourselves.
It doesn't matter. It's adding to the world. We'll eventually...
We're world building. Remember that episode we did on world building?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
So, we'll go into that. Or we'll get through a couple more newses before we completely sidetrack again.
Yeah. Alien Covenant set 10 years after Prometheus.
I don't care about that.
Neither do I. No matter the decade, xenomorphs are still bad news.
Okay. Well,
this is real bad news if you know what I'm saying.
Bad news bears.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever gone bored and imagined xenomorphs in other movies?
No.
Like Bad News Bears?
Tell me, how would that go for you?
Okay, so not Bad News Bears specifically, but I remember one time, a few years ago when I was a bit younger, and my sisters were a bit younger, we were all sitting on the couch, and they were watching the Disney Channel, and they were watching The Princess Diaries. So probably The Princess Diaries too. You know, the one with Anne Hathaway and Mary Poppins?
Yeah, I like that.
It was me just now getting into, good movies and everything. So I had watched Alien and Aliens, and I'm like, how would Mary Poppins and Anne Hathaway react right now? Like all these princesses from all over the world, which are there for some reason, are, sliding mattresses down a slide, which is in the room for some reason. Why is this a room in the castle? I don't know. And they're all having a slumber party. What would the reaction be if a xenomorph just sort of showed up and started attacking everybody? That would be the funniest thing. It would be horrifying, yes, but...
It'd go from 0 to 10 real quick. Especially, if she's sliding down on the mattress thing and then she gets mauled and, immediate tonal shift, everything like that. Her stomach gets torn open and everybody's like, ah!
Everyone, on the Disney Channel, they can't help, they, even the FCC is just we gotta play this, and they're all like, oh, shit!
Oh, man.
Raven Simone is there, and she's like, "Ah, shit! I did not see this coming."
I get it, because that's so Raven. She can see the future.
Yeah.
And she didn't see that coming.
I assume she's the same character and everything.
Yes, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Alright, what's the next news? Because we got sidetracked after one whole thing.
We got a little sidetrack. Pixar reveals new Finding Dory characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's this big shark thing and that little
Hippo
dumb
shark.
whale with the nose.
That's it? Yeah. Alright, good. I'm glad we have that exciting bit of
Set
news.
6 months after finding Nemo, Dory stumbles upon a marine rehabilitation center. There it is, where she meets
retrated?
a beluga whale named Bailey and a whale shark named Destiny. Details are sparse, but Entertainment Weekly reported that the duo are essentially part in finding Dory's parents.
Dory has parents?
Yeah, she's finding her parents. That's what she's after.
I thought it was called Finding Dory.
Yeah, because she leaves, and she's got to find her parents, because she wants to find her parents, and then they got to find her, because they're like,
I think I like Dory, but Dad, what about our mom? She's been dead. This is a new fish I can flounder about with.
Get it, son? Do you get it? It's just like, yes, I get it, Albert Brooks, Dad, but do you get it?
Do you know that male clownfish, when they realize there's no other females, they turn themselves into a female so they can get impregnated with their son's seed?
It's just like, I imagine, middle of the night, Nemo's, just sleeping, and Marlin walks up.
No, we want to stop.
No, trust me. He's like,
we're cutting it. We're done. We're done. We're stopping there. We're done. That's.
It will be decided later if that bit is kept.
Oh, goodness. I don't know what bit we cut before that was apparently too offensive, but apparently whenever we do bits, we laugh at them in the moment because like, haha, we're funny. And then you listen to them later in the dead of night when you're not obligated to laugh at my jokes and I'm not obligated to laugh at yours. And that's when you go, the fuck are we thinking?
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen with that whole bit that we just did. We're going to keep the part when we talk about it, but if we don't keep the bit, people always wonder. People will wonder. Doctor Strange, Rachel McAdams' role revealed.
Who's Rachel McAdams?
Hang on. That lady. There's a big play thing in front of her face.
Oh, she's a pretty lady. Wait,
Uh,
wasn't she an Arrow?
No.
Okay.
She was in True Detective Season 2.
Okay.
She was in Mean Girls. She was in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies.
Oh, okay, I saw that one.
Yeah. She was the Irene Adler lady.
Oh, right, whatever that means. Anyway.
And she is revealed to be a fellow surgeon that has a history with Strange, who serves as his sort of linchpin to his old life when he becomes a sorcerer. She is someone he connects with at the beginning and reconnects with and helps anchor his humanity.
I really enjoy Doctor Strange because it's just like Iron Man, except with magic instead of iron suit.
Magic Iron Man. Have you seen the new images for Doctor Strange? Have you seen those?
I saw the one.
You saw the one? There were a few.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do they look good to you?
I think they look good.
I want to see the movie.
I also want to see the movie, even though I know nothing about Doctor Strange.
All right, Doctor Strange. Want me to give you a real quick rundown?
Well, I know like who he is and his origin and everything. I mean, like, I've never read a Doctor Strange comic in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. All right. You know his origin story. I guess that's good enough.
All right. And then, are you happy with Cumberbatch being casted?
At first, I wasn't because I only knew when it was announced. I only knew Cumberbatch from Sherlock. Mm-hmm. And he looked too skinny for me. Like, he looked pathetically skinny to be Doctor Strange. But seeing him in the poster, he kind of filled out his cheeks a bit more. He looks like he's actually well-fed, not malnourished. I'm like, alright, good. He can actually play a fucking superhero now. He looks good. Not that...
but... He shouldn't have to, Zach. You have such high standards, Zach specifically. Yep. He shouldn't have to change himself.
No, he should. He's an actor.
He shouldn't have to change himself because all Cumberbatches are beautiful. Hashtag all Cumberbatches.
Why don't you take the mic away from me, Brooks? It's
because I had an important message to the people.
How about hashtag go screw yourself, Brooks? How about that? heart diseased. Diseasing me. I like how you have Game Grumps open on another tab. That's not news, is it?
No, that's for me. That's not for the listeners. That's for me.
That is mine. This is my time.
So
Now it's shulk time.
now I'm really feeling it. We played that. That was chaotic. We played that the other day with 8 people. That was the first time I've ever played that game with like 8 people.
Really? It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that night. Did you enjoy that night?
I did enjoy that night because you and I both aren't party people. But
Yeah.
when we get invited to another person's building in Crimetopia, or whatever name I said earlier, Crimeopolis.
It changes constantly because people keep stealing the sign.
Alright, Crimatorium. Sometimes they add letters to it in graffiti, and we just have to roll with it. But, yeah, going over there, it's like a nice casual place. Like, sure, we see some people we don't know, but there's you and me for 100 years, and then Matt just came by, and we're like,
Yeah.
awesome.
I think it was also funny leading up to it.
Yeah.
Because neither of us really had anything to do.
Not for New Year's.
So for New Year's, neither of us really had anything to do. And our one friend Griffin was talking about a party he was going to. And I'm like, I told Zach, I'm like, okay, so I didn't make like it entirely clear, but I was like, okay, so I'm just looking for something to do, literally anything. And Griffin says he has a party and everything that he's bringing people along to.
Yep.
And I'm probably not going to want to go on my own because I'm not much of a party person.
Yeah, you're a
but
little socially awkward.
Yeah, I am very socially awkward. But I know that Zach is also not a party person, and if he's there with me, then, you know, I could probably enjoy it. So I'm like, hey, so I texted Griffin in the group chat. I'm like, hey, can Zach and I come along to the party? And then minutes later, you're just like,
I'm not inviting myself to
yeah,
this party.
you're just like, but you also added in ellipses like before, and I'm like, that was the right emphasis, and you were just like, I'm not inviting myself to the party, and I'm like, shit. So I'm like, and then I told Zach later, I'm like, well, we better turn this train around because it's time to backtrack.
And so we did. Luckily, our other friend Andrew was just like, hey, I got a party at my place, and we're like, all right, cool, let's play some Nintendo.
And like, this isn't anything saying about Andrew. It's just like, if he invites you to a party, we know that it's not the kind of party that we would not enjoy.
Right.
Like the
it's
kind of.
not what's the word?
It's more of a gathering.
It's a gathering.
Yeah,
it's, hey,
yeah. It's not like
food,
a traditional party. Like
there's food, there's games, but like high school party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what's. Yeah, that's really. That's
I mean,
really.
a party. It's like, yeah, hey, everybody's kind of mingling, doing their thing, there's drinks here and there, everybody's talking, and then there's that couple that just, what the fuck was that? We got movers in here.
Don't worry, the shag carpeting is settling.
Oh, okay. Is that the sound of the shag carpeting?
If it helps you sleep at night, yes.
Oh, okay. Is our new building haunted by all the souls of our previous Brooks and Zach 100 Years employees that are dead?
So yeah, the party was a lot more laid back.
Brooks, what are you talking about? I'm asking you about those dead bodies. In the I'm pretty certain you can hear them too. Can you hear them, Brooks?
No, what? I can't hear anything.
What? Okay, I guess we're good then. What's on to the topic of the day? I guess.
Topic of the day. It's at 25 minutes, so I think I'll just stop it.
Okay. Also, get our shit together.
I'll do that.
But like, what? Do you have a big enough closet for just the two of us to comfortably sit in?
Comfortably? No.
I don't want to be in a closet with you. So Zach, what'd you do today? I was just in a closet with Brooks for an hour. We're just doing our thing. Well, what's your thing? I don't want to talk about it. What? Don't worry about it, okay, man? Get off my back.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm always curious exactly what our friendship is. Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Because, like, I don't know. It seems like fluctuates sometimes.
What does it fluctuate between?
I don't know. Like,
Oh, you're right. A big old gulp of water in the middle of your sentence. I guess it could fluctuate to that.
I don't know. Maybe like sometimes it seems like we're on equal level, and other times it seems like you're kind of like it's kind of a lot of pity coming from you.
No, all right. Let me try to clear this up for you then. I view us as equals most of the time.
Yes.
The only exception to that is when we play video games together.
Okay.
And in that aspect, it's like, I'm not sure if you had that neighbor when you were growing up, but you went over to their house to play video games, and they just constantly beat you, and you're just like, alright, cool, they know how to play this video game. I don't, but we've been playing for the same amount of time, and you know, I should really know how to play this video game by now, but fucking, I don't.
I see where you're going with this.
Smite, Brooks, that's right.
But
it's the only time we're
you
not
see,
equal.
yeah, and it's just like the video game thing is like in a room full of people, like that's the one guy who's yelling the loudest sometimes.
Is that me? Am I the one yelling? Was I yelling during Smash? I don't know if I was.
No, you were making weird noises during Smash.
Okay, the only time I make the weird noises is when I am in a critical situation. Like, you know how in Pokemon, when the Pokemon's in the red, it makes a doo-doo-doo-doo-doo sound? Like, it's... Yeah, and it's, like, really annoying, and you want it to stop. I have a built-in version of that. Like, I can't stop. Like, in Smash Bros, if I'm at 200% and the other guy's at 200% and we're just trying to get that one punch in, I'm just like...
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, I don't really care if I win or lose. I'm just gonna have some fun here.
Well, no, it's not about the winning or losing. It's about proving yourself on the Pride Lands. God. Alright, that's that.
But yeah, it's mostly just in video games. Other times we feel like besties.
Yeah.
I say things like that, and then your response makes me question exactly where our bestie status lies. Where is that? What is the level of that?
Where's our bestie status? Brooks Vernon, 2016. I didn't mean to say your last name. Whatever, you can just...
We've said it before.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to decide who's more of a bestie to me, you or Yaskovich.
Ouch. I get it. Go ahead and do Yaskovich and...
Zach, look, this podcast, for both of us, it's a two-way street. It proves to ourselves that we're probably closer friends than we are to maybe other people.
I thought it was we're not going anywhere in life, so we might as well just sit here in our Brooks and
that's more like a subtext thing, where it's like in the background constantly. Like I'm talking more here and now, whereas like the podcast, the fact that we do it each week kind of proves that we're kind of closer to each other than other people we're closer to. Like, because, like, Josh is also one of my best friends, but I don't know if I'd want to, but I don't know if I could keep doing a podcast with him.
Forever. For 100 years.
For 100 years, yeah. That's the contract. And people who will not be named, you've said that if they suggested doing a podcast with you, you said that after a few weeks that you'd probably just be like, nah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, you want to do a podcast? Yeah, sure. And then I'd do it for a couple weeks, and then I'd go, look, I've got a thing I need to do right now. But for this podcast, it's been like, oh, shit, I got a thing I need to do. We got to do it today. It's 6 a.m. We got to do it now. We have to do it right now. And then we're just like both completely trained. We're like, welcome back to...
Don't worry, I got the bucket. I like slide the bucket over top of the stuff that's already on the floor. It's just like I throw it at it.
You slide the bucket, it falls over like 2 feet away from you, and it doesn't even get near me, and I'm chugging on the floor.
And then you vomit on like the side of the bucket on the outside,
which is also covered in shag carpeting.
We're like, gross.
This building is gonna go up in flames twice as fast.
Oh yes.
All right, we'll fix that sometime next week.
We have some adventurous Christmas parties, let me tell you.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. So, on to the main topic. We just had a sort of a diverging thing.
No, jeez. How much time do we have for the main topic?
About the usual 30 minutes.
All right.
So, Quentin Tarantino. Ooh, Rantino Quinin.
Quasar Tarantula.
Quago. Tarantelli.
Quagmire Turpentiner.
Werner Herzog is a filmmaker.
Alright.
He made Grizzly Man.
Alright,
Okay.
so I feel like what we're gonna do, we're not really gonna like go through like, hey, what's our top movies? Let's just go up your list thing and we'll discuss if we've seen the movie, what we thought about it.
Because he hasn't made too many. Like there are
Right.
some filmmakers that have just made a ton of stuff
Yeah.
and everything.
But when it's a Tarantino movie, you're like, I'm in for a ride.
I am in for a film because we're going to say some of the things we say may not be the most positive, but just establishing head on, there will be all spoilers for all of these movies if you haven't seen them.
Except
and
for Hateful Eight. I have
except
not
for
seen
Hateful Eight, we won't
yet.
spoil that.
Want to see that?
That's good, but I'm in the camp where
Concentrating.
it's not. I'm in the camp where
It's not.
I don't really think that Quentin Tarantino is capable of making a bad movie
Yeah.
or even an alright movie. That's how good he is. But there's one movie that we will talk about where okay, we'll get there. But yeah, so if we say anything about these movies, we are both fans of his.
Yes.
Yes, very extensively.
I mean, he's a great director, not a great person. That's what I feel.
No, he's kind of an asshat. But
Yes.
whatever, you can
Yeah.
separate those things. John Lennon was a horrible person, and he made a lot of great music.
There you go. All right. Then let's go. What's the first movie we're talking about?
Reservoir Dogs.
That was great. I
Because
did...
we're not going to talk about his weird student films.
Oh, okay. That's good. We shouldn't. They're like a Rick Gregory film.
Oh, boy.
We don't want to talk about those either.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go look him
Anyway.
up on YouTube.
What are your thoughts on Reservoir Dogs?
Reservoir Dogs is an amazing one. You and I were actually both in that, weren't we?
We
did a play.
not the film.
We
We
did
were in a play adaptation of
Yeah,
it.
which was fun because they had to take all the transitions and stuff and put them into a play setting. Now, it wasn't a great play. It was just the first one I did while I was at college, and I really enjoyed it because it was how I met a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
But not Brooks. I can't remember how I met you.
I can't remember how I met you either.
Weird.
Okay. So I think the most distinct memory I have is my sophomore year. Your senior year?
I think it'd be junior.
Junior, senior? I
Yeah.
thought you were 2 years ahead of me.
It might be. I don't know.
Well, anyway, years ago, I was younger than you.
Is this your first year of college?
Yeah.
I'm 2 years ahead of you then.
Yeah. So, I am just sort of standing around in the lobby because I
Yeah.
have no one to talk to in the morning before the classes start. And I had been in shows, I'd made friends with theater people and everything.
Mhm.
I'm like, who can I talk to? And I looked around, and I'm like, there's Zach. He was in that one show with me, the Winter One Acts, and he was pretty funny. I guess I'll go talk to him a bit. I'll just stand close to him for a while until he acknowledges me, and then I'll start talking to him. That's how I remember it. I don't know about you.
I don't remember. I think, I wish I had a better memory, but if you did something like that, what you do, that's how you, I guess.
That's how I meet people.
Yeah, you just, you
I just
stand
sort
near
of
them.
stand there until they acknowledge me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how that would happen. I'd probably glance at you and go, alright, I guess this kid's standing here now, whatever. Then I'd continue with my conversation. If you laughed, I'd be like, alright, I like him. I like it when people laugh.
I know one of the first conversations we had was about Ashura's wrath and everything. That was the whole thing. That was an early thing.
That was, yeah, and then that almost ended the friendship right there. Christ. We're not talking. We're not
So
going.
Reservoir Dogs. I mean, it's a pretty amazing directorial debut, and he wrote it too.
Yeah.
It was funny because at that point in time in Quinn's career, he'd been writing scripts
Yeah.
and everything, and they've been going around Hollywood. And I hear that when he wrote Reservoir Dogs, on the title page of the script, it said Reservoir Dogs written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, which is not something you put on a script if you want it sold. But it was so good that it got sold anyway, and he got the directing job.
Nice.
It was very low budget, but really good.
Yeah.
Most of it's in, like, one location.
Mhm.
And it's a lot about the characters. And something that I really like is that, sort of part of his style, is it's very non-linear
Yeah.
in the narrative, and it's really cool.
Mhm. I love all of his movies so far. I like all of his movies. Yeah. I'm trying to think of one that I didn't enjoy, but
We'll get to that.
yes. But this one, yeah, the twist at the end really got me. Because when I first saw it, I didn't know how movies worked. And I was like, holy shit, man.
You didn't know how movies worked?
No, and like, the way it ended, like, every movie I saw before that one was just like, good guys, finish in the end, yeah.
Oh,
and then this one was just like, holy fuck. What the fuck? Alright.
How old were you when you saw it?
Oh, I don't know. When did it come out? I was really young.
1992.
Middle school is when I saw it, I think.
See, it's funny because I think I remember it as being the first R-rated movie I ever, like, intentionally sat down and watched. And
You've
everything.
unintentionally...
Well, like, sometimes there'll be, like, an edited version of one on
okay.
TV and everything. But this was the first one where I was, like, full on watched it. And spoilers on all the movies, but something I didn't, like, something that was told to me later was, like, it actually revealed at the beginning that Mr. Orange was the rat.
How to do
and
that?
Everything. When they're all tipping, like, when they're all going through the tip thing
Yeah.
and everything, everyone's, like, it's showing off each character's personality.
Yeah.
Like, through that scene. When the boss comes over and he's counting up the money, he's like, who didn't tip? And, like, immediately Mr. Orange is like, Mr. Pink didn't tip. And he's like, why not? Oh, because he doesn't believe in it. And, like, he ratted out Mr. Pink right away. And that was the thing. And then there are other subtle things, like, in the warehouse when Mr. Pink and Mr. White are talking, there's some jars of stuff along the wall. Like, where they're talking, there's pink jars and white jars, and all the way over there is an orange jar away from them.
Oh,
and little stuff like that was, like, signs of, like...
I gotta rewatch it now. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, just little hints like that.
Yeah, Tarantino movies you gotta watch more than once, at least to me.
Yeah.
I've seen Inglourious Bastards I don't know how many times.
See, like, this was his first movie, and when it came out, it was kind of like, a lot of people liked it, but at the same time it was kind of polarizing because of the violence and everything, and because of just the way it was. And they're just like, this is weird, and we don't like this. And I remember watching old Siskel and Ebert reviews. They, like, gave it both a thumbs down and everything. But then they gave both a thumbs up to his next movie, which everybody universally loved when it came out, and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction's awesome.
Royale with cheese.
Yeah. Something that always puzzled me was, like, I didn't really see a ton of, like, difference between, like, at first, I didn't see a ton of difference between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. I didn't really understand why, like, because I love both movies, I didn't really understand why, like, Reservoir Dogs was just considered a great movie, and Pulp Fiction was considered, like, an amazing movie. And then, like, going back to it, like, and rewatching it, and, like, learning different things about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to see the real, like, why this is his best movie and everything.
It was great. I'd love to... I also love how he connects all of his movies together. Like, subtle, very subtle. He, like, ties a character's name into somewhere else. I can't remember how he does it.
Yeah.
But I think the way he connected Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs together was Marcello Spivey. Was that the guy's name?
Marcellus Wallace?
Yeah, Marcello was in Pulp Fiction, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, he was the gangster character in Pulp Fiction, but I don't remember him being in
Reservoir Dogs. They're like, hey, you got a guy who can move the diamonds? Yeah, I got a guy. His name's Marcello. He lives down in blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's how they connected those two universes together.
See, like, yeah, it's like all of Quentin Tarantino's movies are, like, in the same connected universe.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to talk about the big connection between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, which is that Mr. Blonde and John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction are brothers.
Oh.
And they were going to make a movie about the two of them before those movies happened, because they both died in them. But, because they both died. But, yeah, that never happened, because they got all old and their faces got weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like...
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, skipping ahead to Hateful Eight, like, Tim Roth and like, Kurt,
Russell?
Kurt Russell, that was his name.
Total guess. I just guessed that completely, but go ahead.
Yeah, they look like they've sort of aged gracefully. I think Tim Roth most of all, because and the facial hair helps and everything in that film.
Keanu Reeves ages the best.
Yeah, I think they've aged all right.
Yeah.
Michael Madsen, the guy who played Mr. Blonde and is in Hateful Eight, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck happened to you, man?
It doesn't help that he has a really weird costume. Okay, so I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I've seen Hateful Eight.
I haven't.
And
don't spoil that for me.
I won't spoil anything.
Okay.
But in Hateful Eight, all the characters are wearing really accurate period clothing and everything, and looks like realistic, and it's like a lot of grays and everything, a lot of fur coats. And then his character has a weird sort of it looks like a cowboy suit from a costume shop.
Okay.
Like a sort of dark, if you dark colors version of what Marty McFly wore in.
Really?
Sort of, not really. It's sort of in that in-between area between an accurate costume and a weird Halloween costume. It's in that uncanny valley of that costume-wise.
Gotcha.
I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But yeah. Okay, yeah, you can't see the whole thing, but here's part of it.
Oh, okay. Oh god, he did not age well.
No, he did not. But it's a weird thing. He has a weird leather vest and a really weird patterned blue shirt and all that, and it's just odd. So,
yes.
His next movie is one that I have actually not seen, and you have also not seen. Jackie Brown.
What's that look like?
It looks like this.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. What's that one about?
It is, I think it might be his only film adapted from a novel, and instead of an original story from him. And it's about this lady named Jackie Brown who I think she finds money or gets involved in crime or something. I hear it's good and I want to see it. Everything.
Movie night.
Movie night.
Just when we watch Dragon Ball Z World's Strongest, we'll watch that, and then we'll watch whatever Grand Budapest Hotel, because we need to watch that with Mathis.
So Pulp Fiction is interesting because it has all these interesting, it has a lot of Tarantino characters and interesting stuff, but also seems to have a weird sort of mythology around it as well. People are just because of the spiritual aspects of it. With Jules, Samuel L. Jackson's character, when the guy shoots at them and misses all that stuff. Yeah. And it's just oh, it's the act of God. I'm quitting. Vincent Vega's what? That's not that. Marvin, what do you think? And then he shoots Marvin in the face, which is the best scene in any movie ever.
Really?
Yeah, when he shoots Marvin in the face. Are you kidding? That's amazing.
Alright.
Because it's Marvin's their inside guy in that thing. So they bring him along, and they're just they're having that conversation in the front of the car, and Vincent still has his gun in his hand, but with no intention of hurting Marvin at all, because he's on their side and everything, and Marvin's in the back seat, and he's just Marvin, what do you think about all this? And Marvin's just I don't even have an opinion. And he's well, you gotta have an opinion. He turns around with the gun in his hand, and he's just do you think that God came down and stopped those bullets, and then the gun goes off and you just see a blood splatter, and it's oh, what the fuck?
Oh shit, I shot Marv.
Why'd you do that?
I didn't mean to.
It's the best scene in any, and you can see a bit of rain in Samuel L. Jackson's afro. Yeah, it's great.
Oh god.
It's a fun fact that the guy who played Marvin, he's a very famous voice actor. He's been in a lot of stuff, and he's Green Lantern in the Justice League cartoon.
Oh.
And he's been in a ton of other things too.
Didn't know that. All right, so what's the next movie? We gotta. What time?
Don't you have anything else you want to say about Pulp Fiction? Because we're kind of breezing through these a little. We're not giving a lot of detail.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've only seen Pulp Fiction once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not the one I've seen 8 times.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed Pulp Fiction. It's a Tarantino movie. Although, the one thing I didn't like about Pulp Fiction, and it's probably just because I'm an uncultured slob and I don't understand how movies work, just the whole diner scene with John Travolta and what's her name?
Uma Thurman.
Yeah, that weird dancing scene thing. They're just in the 80s diner. I'm this is going on for way too long. I'm just bored.
I mean, that's fair.
That's just my opinion, though. I was just watching it. I'm these guys It's just weird.
It seems like the only thing people really remember about that part is all the references to the 50s, the dancing, and the line about the milkshake and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that seems to be the only standout part of that. I think that was just, like, time spent between each other. It doesn't get interesting until the stuff with the overdose.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah. So, Jackie Brown. Now, speaking of fucked up, Kill Bill.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I love Kill Bill. It's great. Which do you like better, Volume 1 or Volume 2?
Ooh. They're both pretty good, but I think Volume 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, mostly because the fights are a bit cooler to me. Like, the whole... Woohoo, that one? Was that in 2 or 1? That was in 2, wasn't it? They were... Japan. She fought the Japan.
Japan was 1.
Oh, then it might have been 1.
Yeah, that was Volume 1.
Oh, then I think it was Volume 1 that I liked more. But I really like the eye gouging out thing in Volume 2.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, because I like the whole sensei...
The thing is, people, like, a lot of people say that Volume 2 is the better one, and I'm like, that just seems like, to me it seems like one big movie, and it's hard to, like, separate them, because some people are like, oh, 1 is really weak, but 2 is really good, or the other way, or the other way around. I'm like, I can't really separate them. They're just Kill Bill, and it's just really cool, and everything, and I like it, and it had the guy with the eye gouging and everything, like, and then also had Michael Madsen with starting to get his weird face. He didn't have a full weird face yet, but he was starting to get a weird face.
Which one? It was Michael Madsen?
Michael Madsen, Mr. Blonde.
Oh, right. Yeah. He's not too weird.
Well, that's the photo, and then I showed you the photo of the Hateful Eight, which is the most recent thing, and that was a weird face.
Yeah, it was a weird.
So he was in the transition period in Kill Bill of getting weird face. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a disease that affects us all in different ways.
It affects everyone uniquely. Tarantino also has a weird face.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It seems like... Is that why he casts people with such weird faces?
He wants to feel like he belongs in his own movie.
'Cause, like... Okay, so...
I mean,
Christoph Waltz is a like, by all accounts, is a very attractive man.
Yes.
But he also kind of has a weird face.
He's got an old face because he's old.
He's got I think it's kind of weirdly shaped.
Really?
I think it's maybe his head is weirdly shaped and his face is normal.
Huh. I mean, every face is weird.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it long enough, you're like, wow, that person's got a weird face. Like, I'm looking at you, Brooks.
Yeah, this is our first, like, across table recording.
Yeah, I think you realize that I can't horse eats corn you if you're across the table.
Yes, so I'm smiling a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'll find a way to get you.
You'll just knock over the table and ruin everything just to do that.
Yeah, and in the background you hear, no! No! Oh, God. But,
weird face. Yeah, Kill Bill is probably his, like, at that point in time, his most elaborate action scenes. And everything.
Didn't Kill Bill in the Tarantino universe, wasn't Kill Bill a movie?
Yes.
Okay.
It seems like the way the universe is set up, that both Kill Bill and From Dusk Till Dawn...
I haven't seen that one either.
Oh, it's good. But that one's not directed by Tarantino. That one's written by Tarantino, but directed by Robert Rodriguez. Famous for Sin City and Spy Kids 4.
Wouldn't that be infamous?
He also made Desperado, which is a really good movie.
Okay, then he's famous for Desperado, but he's infamous for Spy Kids 4.
He's infamous for all the Spy Kids movies.
I don't know. I liked some of the Spy Kids movies. I haven't watched them recently. Oh, I like Spy Kids 3D.
That was the one. That was the one that was not a good.
That had Sylvester Stallone.
It had old Sly Stallone. Buscemi. It had Khan was the grandpa, and he could walk again, and then he died after he made that movie.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
It also had Elijah Wood.
Okay, the Elijah Wood part was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, because, like, hey, how's it going? I'm the chosen one.
I am the hero. I am the best player.
And then he walks in and dies, and you're like, what? Huh.
The thing about it is, like, to me, I put it in the category of films about video games made by people who have most likely never played a video game in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at it, you look at this, like, the game they go through, I'm like, what the fuck kind of game is this?
Well, how would you...
There's a weird, like, moon thing, and then there's they have to jump on frogs, and then there's,
I mean, have you played Toontown?
and then there's a racing thing. Is it Toontown? Are they in Toontown?
They're in Toontown.
Did Sylvester Stallone make Toontown?
It's essentially Toontown. I remember I played that when I was younger. I wonder if that's still up.
I'm just like
I'm gonna Google that real quick, if I can still play Toontown.
And then the girl that the redhead wanted to bone was an NPC.
Yeah.
And spoilers for Spy Kids 3D.
Yep. Let's see. Toontown Online, a Wikipedia. What's it gonna tell me about? Is it still running? I guess it is. The beta game was released then. I guess it still operated. Gameplay, combat, distribution. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying. But, why are you looking at that?
I don't know,
like,
I was curious.
Kill Bill was just, like, this huge tribute to Kung Fu movies that Tarantino wanted to make, because he really liked Kung Fu movies.
Mm-hmm.
And something really good about Tarantino, I like, is that he makes movies within genres that are considered like not like as high art as other genres,
Yeah.
like crime movies, kung fu movies, the sort of like pulpy World War II movie that Inglourious Basterds was, and westerns and all that.
Yeah.
And he takes the genre and he's able to sort of like transcend it, yeah, I guess is the best word. That makes it sound loftier than it is, but he just is able to make like really like good meaningful movies out of like genres that are not like all that like known for those types of movies.
Oh, hey, we can buy Toontown for $17 off Amazon.
Really?
Yeah.
Are there any servers up at all?
I think it's a CD.
Well, yeah, but it's an MMO, right?
I guess so. The first multiplayer online game designed for kids requires a monthly subscription fee.
I think they canceled that service.
Think they may have.
But I thought I remembered reading somewhere that like fans were like reconstructing it or whatever.
Let's see. I've been playing Toontown Online for 2 years now. A coworker got... This was back in 2006. These reviews are really old.
So you're saying we should buy every single copy of that disc that exists?
Yeah, hold on, let's see. Actually, in
the meantime, while you look at that, I will talk about 2005, which is probably the best year in Quentin Tarantino's career, when he had two great jobs. He was a special guest director on the movie Sin City.
We're not talking about that one.
And he also directed a 2-parter episode in season 5 of CSI Crime Scene Investigation.
Okay. Huh.
What's your favorite CSI moment?
Oh, it's the one where I didn't watch any CSI ever.
See, mine is the one when they find a crime and then they put some science on it and then they arrest the guy at the end of the episode.
Every episode?
That is every single episode.
I remember, I think it was CSI, it was NCIS, or one of the random letter assortments.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, hold on, we're being hacked. And the guy's like, what? And the person just typing furiously on their keyboard like, what? And so they pulled up their keyboard and like, let me help you double hack. So you got two people, quote unquote, hacking away on the single keyboard. And it just made me feel really stupid because I was just watching it.
See, my entire family loves that kind of stuff. I cannot stand those shows.
Yeah,
I cannot. I just... It's too much. I can't. Right. There was an episode where they fought vampires.
What?
Yeah.
That's not a
It was like... They were just like, a murder's occurred. It looks like a vampire. And then they found this club of people who like to pretend to be vampires. And then they're just like... Then they opened up the curtains and one guy was like, I have a special disease that makes me really sensitive to light. And he's like, oh, so you're like a real-life vampire. and then they found the murderer, who I don't remember who it was, because I stopped watching after that.
That's stupid.
Because it's
really stupid.
Oh, speaking of, like, hacking stuff, have you seen any of CSI Cyber?
No.
I have not either, but I kind of want to see. Like, okay, I'm not going to watch it, but I'm going to look on YouTube for a video of, like, a 5-minute clip of somebody hacking on CSI Cyber, because I want to see what they think that is.
Okay.
So his next movie was a sort of co thing with Robert Rodriguez called Grindhouse, where they each made a movie in the style of the old terrible Grindhouse movies and everything.
I don't know what that means.
You know, when you go in the 70s, when you go to like a really crappy theater, you know, the kind that would show porn and everything, and you want to see a double feature of just an exploitation movie and everything in that style, where like the footage is really grainy, it's really low budget, and it's really like the only draws of it are like the sexual stuff and the violence and all that. And they wanted to make a tribute to that. And Robert Rodriguez made an okay movie called Planet of the Dead. Quentin Tarantino made a movie called Deathproof, which is, in my opinion, a very bad movie.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing is, like, we said earlier that he isn't really capable of making bad movies or even just alright movies.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if he tries to make a bad movie, because he's so good, he is capable of accomplishing that. And I think that's what happened with Deathproof, because he was trying to make a movie in the style of
a Grindhouse thing.
Yeah, of a Grindhouse thing. And it was... I did not like it, like, at all.
Was it like Hobo with a Shotgun bad? Or?
I think that was one of the trailers for Grindhouse, because a few of the trailer... Because they had this thing where they had the double feature, but they also had a bunch of fake trailers made by different filmmakers.
Okay.
And everything, like, Eli Roth made one about, like, a Thanksgiving serial killer. Edgar Wright made one about, like, a haunted house.
All right.
And then Machete was one, and that's where that came from.
Machete?
Yeah, and Robert Rodriguez directed that. And then Hobo with a Shotgun was one of the trailers.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of different movies have sort of come out of that. But, and then I just think Deathproof is bad. Because it's about a guy who's a stunt driver who kills people by crashing. He has a seat. The driver's seat is death-proof, but the passenger seat isn't. So he crashes a car and kills women. Huh. And then there's a weird... Then half the movie is just people sort of farting around. And then then a lap dance happens. And then he crashes his car into 4 people, and like a leg flies off, and then like a face is crushed by a tire, and all that. Huh. And then the movie seems like it's over, but then it's not. Then a really cool car chase happens, and then it's over.
Okay.
And it's just not. It's not very good.
All right.
Like at all.
So we gotta get through these last movies.
We just got 3 left. First up, Inglourious Basterds.
Amazing movie, my favorite one. When Christoph Waltz does the monologue in the beginning, I am just always completely into
that was a really great opening too.
I was just like, yes.
Yeah, like the trailers were like. The trailers for the film were just like, oh, all this violence, and Quentin Tarantino's doing a war movie, it's all this and this, and then it opens like that, and it's just like, oh, now you know what movie you're in for, and all that.
It was great, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He is, the Jew Hunter in that is just a fantastic character. Like, hang on, what's his exact name? Hans Landa was great.
I have a car that's that.
Really?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Well, that was the end of that conversation.
Yeah, and it's just like... And, like, some people, like, wrote off the movie as being, like, too violent, like, as always, and everything. And then I think there's, like, a lot of interesting stuff going on in it, a lot of great characters. I especially like the one guy who's the sort of Nazi that they recruit, who like killed all these Nazi officers and everything, and they brought him along, and he was just this really like great character, and that was especially shown in the scene, in my favorite scene in the whole movie, which is the bar scene. Like, that was great. That was pretty fantastic. Also had Michael Fassbender. I didn't know who it was at the time, but I found out later. I'm like, oh boy, and coming down with a case of the vapors, if you know what I'm saying.
Baby,
he's a young Magneto, and then you can tell it's Tarantino, and it has like a lot of a lot of focus, surprising amount of focus on actual like film and filmmaking within it, because it like a lot of it takes place in a theater, and it's about like some propaganda films and stuff like that.
Right.
It's just like I haven't seen it in forever. I should watch it again.
Huh.
So, and it was your favorite
Oh
Tarantino
yeah, it's
movie?
my favorite Tarantino movie.
I think it's up there for mine too, because I really liked it. So, and then he intentionally misspelled both words in the title. I don't know why. I don't know if he ever said why he did it.
I didn't see the.
That is not how you spell Inglorious or Bastards.
Oh, okay. I wonder why.
Yeah, but it's cool. It was kind of a unique thing to have 3/4 of your movie made for like an American audience, have 3/4 of it be in non-English languages.
Yeah.
And stuff like
amazing.
that. I thought that was cool. What else do you have to say about it?
I don't.
Oh,
Every time Christoph Waltz was on screen, though, I was immediately like, I need to focus because he plays the mind games all the time. It's great. He just fucking choked out that one chick.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
It was funny because I think this story is true. I really hope it is. Christoph Waltz, in each take for the close up, he would never choke her very hard and everything because he didn't want to hurt her. And Tarantino was like, "You're not doing it right. You're not getting the right reaction out of her." So he put on the costume, and for the close up of the hands like choking her and everything, that's Tarantino doing it himself.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
everything, and I think she actually passed out too.
Oh god.
It's just like, oh, that was good on you, Quentin. Actually, I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel bad about that.
I
Jesus.
kind of feel bad about that too.
Oh man. I mean, you could have just established a safe word.
He needed the reaction for the close up, and okay. So his next film, which was also very highly praised, I think it was one of the most highly praised of his recent films, was Django Unchained.
That one was also great.
That was really great.
Man.
That was his first Western, and I am a huge fan of Westerns. Yeah. I really like them.
It was really good. At first, I thought it started... the first time I saw it, I thought it was, pretty slow. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Then they got to Candyland. That's awesome. Then I watched it a second time, and I was like, what? Was I, half asleep the first time? This whole movie's great.
Yeah. I was sort of the same way, where my first reaction watching it was, I didn't like it as much as Inglourious Basterds. I thought it was...
Think Hateful Eight's gonna be that way, too? Because you said you just watched Hateful Eight, and you're like, hey, it's alright.
Yeah. I'd want to watch Hateful Eight again. You and I can probably, see it in the theater and everything together when you see it for the first time, because I do want to see it again. But upon watching Django Unchained again, I really enjoyed it. And I love Westerns. I'm glad Tarantino also loves Westerns, because he did really good Western with this one. And I think my favorite part is, out of all of it, the shootout at the end. Yeah. Well, not the very end, but the shootout at Candyland. But specifically the part... Because Tarantino, something we haven't really talked about, which Tarantino is known for, is his use of music, which is really fantastic. And there's a use of music, a combination between a James Brown song and a Tupac song, and it plays while Django is slow motion gunning down a bunch of guys, and it's amazing and perfect. And as soon as I watched it, because I didn't see it in theaters, I saw it on DVD. As soon as I watched it, I went back and watched it again 5 times. That just one scene. Before I finished the rest of the movie, I'm like, okay, I need to watch that again. It was great. What was your favorite part of it?
Probably the part that I remember the most. I don't know if there was a favorite part because there's different favorites I can have.
Yeah. I mean, what are some parts that you liked?
When it's say goodbye to the missus. Goodbye, missus, and then he fires, and she just comically flies back out of the room at the wrong angle.
Fantastic visual comedy there.
Oh, Tarantino knows how to do it. He's just a child. But it was great.
Yeah, I like the relationship between Django and Christoph Waltz's character. Yeah, that's really great.
It was great. He rocks the beard. And that was really awesome, the way Christoph Waltz just shot Candyman right there. He's like, yep, just come on, shake my hand. And he's like, yeah, I could shake his hand, but that means throwing away a lot of my pride and saying I was beaten.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Couldn't resist, and then he gets shot.
And he should have, in all honesty, instead of doing the whoops, couldn't resist, he probably should have shot the other guy too. Like the guy with the shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
He probably should have done that.
Well, I think that gun only had one shot in it.
Did it?
Yeah, it was like a hidden gun. I don't think he's gonna have a bunch of bullets.
Maybe he should have, like, when Calvin Candy is like, come here, shake my hand, and he's like just being like a general piece of shit and everything. Like Christoph Waltz should have leaned over to Django's like, hey, I'm gonna go shake his hand, but what I'm really gonna do is I'm gonna shoot him in the
There were two
chest.
guys with shotguns.
No, I think there was just the one in that room.
I thought there was two.
No, I remember there was one, and Django killed him, and the other guy was not a guy with a shotgun, and he like went running out.
Gotcha.
But he's like, hey, I'm gonna shoot him in the chest. I want you to take care of that shotgun guy, because I'm gonna do a playful, like I want to do like a playful whoops. I couldn't resist. But if you don't take care of that guy first, he's probably gonna shoot me while I'm doing my whoops. I couldn't resist.
And then he walks away, and Django's just like, what? What'd you say? I didn't hear you. Whoops. And then
like the
shotgun guy,
he like does his whoops, like couldn't resist, and then the shotgun pulls it. You don't see it in his face because it's too quick, but like in his eyes, and you hear the thought. He's like, damn it.
You hear, and then he gets shot.
It's like, I think Tarantino's known for overusing that word a bit, and like that sometimes that makes me uncomfortable. Like Django, like I think was the best use of it because it fit with the time period. But when you see it come up in like movies like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, I'm like, that's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because it has like so many. People get offended by it so quickly.
But because it has so many connotations and everything, so much history behind it. Yeah, but that's like one of the few Tarantino complaints.
All right,
but
one more movie we got to talk about. Or?
Yeah, I really like Django Unchained.
I know you really like Django Unchained. My name's Brooks. Is that you jacking off?
I don't know. I'm very tired.
Oh goodness.
Hateful Eight was pretty good.
Yes.
I thought it was. No spoilers at all, you know.
Yeah.
Just my honest opinion. I thought it was one of his weaker films.
Okay.
And everything. But, you know, it's still, like I said, he's not really capable of making a bad movie or even a movie that's just all right.
How long was that movie?
3 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. That is a long
As
movie.
an intermission and everything, and an overture at the beginning. It's supposed to... And he shot it on 70 millimeter film. One of the things is, like, Tarantino's, like, not like a... When we say he's a bad person, we don't mean he's like a bad person. He's not like a Roman Polanski or anything.
Right.
He's just like kind of an asshole. And one of the aspects that he's an asshole in is sort of film and film history, where he's like, he doesn't like digital at all. There was an interview with him and Darren Aronofsky, who is another director who's like a younger director, came out around the same time as Tarantino.
Right.
And he's just like, Tarantino, like, the guy interviewing them is just like, so how do you feel like knowing that your movies are going to be like watched on like iPhones on like buses? And Tarantino's like, I hate it. It should be watched in a theater. It should, like, I don't like this thing. And then it wasn't like shot to be watched on like iPhones and stuff. And Darren Aronofsky's just like, I don't care. They're watching my movie, you know. I'm even like composing the shots, you know, knowing, like, had that in mind that people are going to be watching it like this. Stuff like that. And Tarantino's always been kind of a snob about it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Hateful Eight is he shot it on 70 millimeter film. Oh, so it looks amazing. But it's like, and then it's like in old style, like Hollywood, like Western or Hollywood epic or anything, where it's super long, it has an intermission and an overture at the beginning and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Huh.
So it's really an interesting experience.
So you should probably
seeing
see
it
it
at the
with
theater.
friends then.
Yeah, you should see it with me.
Yeah.
See it with me.
I might be seeing it with a girl, but I'm not sure.
If you're gonna do that, then I'll do that. That's.
But would that be a good movie to see with a lady? Because that's a 3-hour fucking long movie.
I'd say, if she's a fan of Tarantino, yes. If she doesn't really know Tarantino at all, I'd say pick a different movie.
All right. Well, she's seen Hobo with a shotgun.
It's not that kind of thing.
I know, but
it's 3 hours of talking with a bit of carnage.
Okay, a bit of carnage. All right. Well.
But yeah, I really liked it. Well, really, I didn't.
All right, just stop talking about it.
Okay, fine.
Don't give me any expectation, bad or good, for it.
Okay,
'Cause I'll-
it's a Tarantino film.
Okay, good.
The only thing is I don't know. Like, I understand why he'd like want to shoot on 70mm because it looks fantastic.
Right.
But I also don't understand like why he would choose to do that with a movie where it mostly takes place in one location, indoors.
I guess.
It's sort of like a Western Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, okay.
So.
I don't mind that.
But yeah. I thought
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say about Hateful Eight without spoiling it.
How long is an intermission?
I don't
typically?
know, like a couple minutes.
Is it?
I don't know if there's like a standard thing. I think it used to be like give you like a certain amount of time. I don't know if it was ever set, but it would when it would happen more often, like first half of the century. But now that intermissions don't really happen anymore, I think like if a movie has it, it would be just up to the filmmaker, like however long he or she wants to make it.
All right. So, what has been going on in your life?
Oh, I thought we were gonna maybe do a ranking of the Tarantinos.
They're all, as you said before, they're all great movies.
Yeah, you don't have to rank movies all times.
Damn it, Brooks. All right.
Oh yeah. So what's been going on with you, man?
I have recently found out about this new YouTube series, which I've been watching a lot of, and I told you about.
Yeah, you told me about it.
It's called Thrilling Intent.
I've seen like the first 2 episodes.
Essentially a animated, and I use the word animated loosely, an animated Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yes.
Which makes me want to do that for 100 years. But we need a person who can animate. We need a person who can just, I don't know, it'd be a video. We need to put it up somewhere. We'd probably put it up on YouTube.
We will, there will come a time when our company shall expand and we shall go to a 100 Years YouTube channel.
That'd be great.
We'll open a branch, we'll open a side, like, we'll make an extension to the building, to, like, that'll be the YouTube part of the company, but we won't make it on the ground level. We'll make it, like, just a block, like a bubble sticking out the side of the building. The building's tumor.
The building in Crimapalooza.
Crimapalooza, yes.
I don't know why they don't steal the CRIM and E of the Crime-topolis sign.
No, like what happens is they keep stealing the whole sign, and you have to replace it, but no one can remember what the name of the city is.
Oh right. It was really just Crimeston.
It's like, we know, it's like, it was actually just like New Windsor. Everyone forgot.
It was actually called Detroit.
Well, okay, so for me, what's been going on, I'm trying to think.
The holidays happened.
The holidays did happen. And I got some stuff for it.
Yeah, like a microphone that we didn't use this time.
A microphone we have yet to figure out how to work.
You have figured out how yet to work. You had 4 days, Brooks.
Look, we didn't record any of those 4 days.
Well, yeah, but you could have set it up.
Yeah. I didn't have the second microphone to set up with.
You could have just still figured it out. Whatever. You know, it doesn't matter? No, it doesn't matter. Let's just keep diddling our doddles.
Let's doddle or diddles.
I don't want to diddle your doddle.
I don't want to doddle my dingus.
So what happened?
I'm trying to think of what I've been watching recently. But I got Raging Bull on Blu-ray, and that's fantastic. I've seen it already, but I haven't watched it on Blu-ray yet. I should do that today.
I got Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on Blu-ray, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, my friend gave me the entirety of DBZ on DVD.
Yeah, that was weird.
All of it. He's like, hey, you want this? I'm going to Thailand. I'm like, what the fuck? All of it? He's like, yeah, I don't need it. Here's also a whip from Indiana Jones. I'm like, what?
Can I have that?
Are you going to whip yourself with it?
No.
Don't whip yourself with it.
I'm not going to whip myself.
I want you to look up several YouTube tutorials before you actually use it as a whip.
Look, I'm not going to, whip it. I'm going to be like, if I ever do an Indiana Jones costume.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can have it then, because it's just taking up a place in my...
Yeah, because you have neither seen Indiana Jones nor kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
you haven't... Okay, so if you haven't seen Raiders, then, like, I don't think you should own that whip.
I saw Crystal Skulls.
You should not own that whip. You should give that whip to me.
Okay.
You can keep DBZ.
All right.
But yeah, he also gave you Dragon Ball.
No, that was my Dragon Ball. I already had. I gave him a Dragon Ball.
No. I mean like the series.
Oh yeah, the entire.
He gave you DBZ.
The first season of Dragon Ball, all the 9 seasons of Dragon Ball Z, several movies, a blank DVD.
Yeah, a bunch of blank DVD
with the word GT written on it.
Yeah, it was in a weird green case with a strange like red monkey man on it.
I don't know. I have it there.
Yeah. Like, whatever it is, I can tell you now, it's not canon.
Yeah. And also, he gave me... It was, like, the 5 best DB movies. Just Dragon Ball.
I think there have only been 5 movies.
Yeah.
So they're automatically the 5 best, no matter what their quality is.
Yeah. So,
it's like, here are the 15 best Dragon Ball Z movies. And I'm like, yeah, there's only been 15.
Alright.
But, have you been watching Super?
Super?
Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, yeah. Been watching Super.
How is it? Some people don't like it.
It's been pretty good. Right now it's just, redoing the entirety of Revival of F. But the animation has dropped considerably sometimes, but that's because, sometimes they have to change who the animator is per episode since they have different animators working and they gotta fill the quota.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to what they do after the Frieza saga.
Yeah.
Because once that happens, I'm gonna start watching it more. Like, right now I'm just skipping through it, like, anything happening? No, alright.
So, yeah, all the stuff in it right now is stuff that's already, like, things in the Dragon Ball universe that have already been expanded upon.
Yes.
So, you're waiting for, like, that to be done, to be like, okay, so here's some brand new stuff.
Yes. Alright. So...
Okay, so you want to just
the plugs.
do the plugs?
Yep. All right. So you can follow us on Twitter at Brave Snuggles, at Squeezy McCheesy, at 100 Years Pod.
You can find us on Gmail with Brooks and Zach 100 Years at gmail.com.
And you can get us on Pinterest at Brave Snuggles.
Yes, and there are others probably. You can follow us on SoundCloud if you're watching us on iTunes. If you're listening on SoundCloud, check out our iTunes. Maybe subscribe to the podcast and give us a rating.
Anything,
5
really.
out of 10 stars, maybe.
If
I don't know.
Really good.
If we're like on our game, which is not today, but
all right, now.
So, like, I think those are all of the plugs.
All right. So what you're going to do for this?
Okay.
Is we're gonna sign off the exact same way we sign off every night.
Exact same way. There's no difference.
There's never a difference. You're gonna listen very closely, and you wonder. Am I in the 1910s? Do I understand where everything is coming from? Is that a piano in the background? Am I the bartender playing away at the saloon? I look over my shoulder real quick just to wonder, is anybody seeing me be the bartender? I take another shot of my whiskey, swallow it down and grimace, and go, Brooks and Zach 100 Years Podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. We got a good time.
See ya.
God damn, every time? Really?